right, here we go. Montana of 300. Welcome back.
Thanks, man.
This is like your third time here, I think?
Yeah, third.
Yeah, man, congrats. You know, you've been steady building this whole time.
Yeah.
You know, keep building the fan base. The videos keep getting bigger.
No doubt,
Congrats, man.
Yeah, life don't stop. The bills don't stop.
Yeah, I feel you. I want to start with this, though. Because recently, you went on Twitter, and you said something that we ended up posting, and it ended up going viral.
Right.
Like on Vlad TV and our Facebook and everything else like that. So I'm assuming it kind of went viral on your account as well. And that is, you said, "Dear KKK, can you please do a protest in Chicago?" So let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, basically, it's self-explanatory. Like, I feel like they choose and go where they want to go. You know, and it's like their protest or whatever, if that's what you want to call it, or it seems like theirs is more built out of hate and wanting to be violent, you know? So I feel like it's a lot of people in Chicago who are violent, of course, as well, you know? And it's not just, you know, everybody's got their own thing going on, or whatever beefs for whatever reasons, you know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure we can all agree it's a lot of ammunition and stuff in Chicago, you know, and guns and stuff like that. So I figure both ends, we got some senseless people in Chicago, and I feel like that KKK shit is some senseless ass shit too. So, you know, if that's what you want, if you want that, you know, that type of action, then you might as well. That's the place to come.
Yeah, if you want that smoke,
you know what I'm saying. And let's see how you know, see how long you be standing still outside protesting with the KKK shit. I feel like that should be ended real quick.
Right, because you never really see like a Nazi get shot at a protest.
Exactly.
You know, and in fact, this past weekend when that girl got killed, that was, you know, the only time I remember when someone actually got killed in the process, or like seriously hurt. There's always fights and, you know, people get beat up and bloodied, but, you know, that was a real fucked up situation.
Yeah, it's true.
She got killed, but what a lot of people aren't focusing on is that like 8 or 9 other people are in critical condition.
Yeah, injured and shit like that.
Yeah. Did you watch that video?
Yeah, my homie, my photographer actually showed me. Yeah, he actually showed me a little bit this morning, matter of fact.
What'd you think?
Yeah. It's pretty messed up, it's fucked up, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, I mean, to me, it's like you gotta be ready for whatever. You going out there to protest. I mean, that don't happen too much often, but I would be prepared for the worst. You know, if I'm gonna go outside and fuck doing whatever I do on my regular day, you know what I'm saying, to just go out and be in the middle of that shit. So, I don't know.
I mean, growing up in Chicago, have you dealt with any racism yourself?
No.
None at all?
No. I mean, I go sometimes I go places, not necessarily in Chicago, but I go certain places and I might see somebody kind of look at me upside my head, kind of like, you know, not too many black people come around here. What the hell is he doing around here? Or they might just be looking at that because the tattoos I have or anything. But it's just, you know, I get funny looks or funny vibes and feelings and shit like that every once in a while. But I never had to deal with none of it in my face. You know what I'm saying? Fortunately.
Think it might be some fear?
I mean, it could be that too. I mean, I know I could look intimidating to some motherfuckers, you know, but at the same time, that's another big reason why I don't complain about a lot of shit in life. Because I was actually just telling a family member of mine, like, for me to be able to say I never had to deal with racism, knowing that it existed, like our ancestors, like shit that they went through on a daily basis, or all this just in one day of their life, like they have hell of more shit to complain about than we do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, be thankful for what you do got and stop fucking complaining so much, because complaining never helped nobody. It just might make some people around you feel sorry for you, but them feeling sorry for you still ain't helping your situation. So it's really a waste of life's time to be complaining.
Yeah, I mean, I interviewed David Banner. One of the things that Ice Cube told Bill Maher was that the N-word was used by white people as a weapon, and they can't have that word back now. But if you take a step back, do you feel that that word should just be removed altogether? Because you don't hear other races using derogatory terms towards each other.
First of all, other races, excuse me for interrupting, haven't been through what black people have been through as long as we went through it. And in a lot of cases, a lot of other races who have went through some similar things, they can move and matriculate within that oppressive race in some cases without being detected if they would throw away their culture. The problem with black people, and I keep trying to explain this to folks, is that we haven't been out of slavery longer than we were in slavery, and people keep forgetting that. And we've never been reprogrammed. Even the so-called smart black people who went and got conscious, most of them didn't come back and teach. So we never got any mental therapy, social therapy, cultural therapy. Like, I did my blood test. I found out what region I'm from, but culturally, I don't even know where the fuck to start.
I mean, we're only talking about maybe 1/10 of the country's history that
Right.
things are more or less supposed to be,
Right.
Cool. But, even though they're not fully, but I'm saying, like,
And
institutionally,
then,
it's
and then
been.
I just seen a post saying that KKK, the numbers are increasing a lot. And so I'm like, what does that say about people that always say, the kids of today isn't like people was 50 years ago and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically going against that and showing that that's obviously wrong. You know what I'm saying? As far as statistic wise.
Yeah. What'd you think about Trump? Recently, he said that if you're going to take down Robert E. Lee's statue, and he was like the general of the Confederate Army, you might as well take down George Washington and Jefferson because they were slave owners as well.
Right. I really don't know too much of the history of both of them, of all of them, equally. So at the end of the day, he probably making a lot of sense from him pointing out that point, if that's facts, that they were all
that is true.
slave
Yeah, I mean,
owners,
that part
you know
is
what I'm
true.
saying? If that's why you're taking it down because of, their feelings or acts towards black people, then you might as well, if that's the reason that you took it down, But,
Right.
Some people, we all sin. Some of our sins might be greater than others, or I might have sinned more times than you, you know what I'm saying? So they be like, oh, take his statue down because, his sins, he did more sinning than what you did, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. So at the end of the day, when you look at the bad things of people and shit like that, if that's the main reason that you took it down was because of how you feel about black people or, how you treated black people, then Trump is right about that.
Right, but General Lee was the only traitor out of that bunch who actually waged a war against his own country.
You said he was the only traitor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I got you.
Ultimately, the South lost the war
Right.
because they were, ultimately traitors.
Right.
And they were fighting for slavery, and this was the head guy. I mean, apart from, the president of the Confederacy, but this is the main soldier behind fighting for slavery.
Right.
I think I've seen people compare it to, what if you had a Hitler High School or something, and a Jewish kid had to go to that school every day, with
That's
a picture
funny as hell.
with a picture of Hitler, on the front of the school.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you think if the KKK marched in Chicago on the South Side?
Yeah, that shit wouldn't last long. That shit be over with like that. Yeah. I think that'd be some entertaining shit. That'd be an instant movie, man. Yeah.
Yeah, they pick and choose.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people got, time on their hands to obviously fuck off. And, if you're gonna fuck off, shit, go find somebody who wanna fuck off with you.
Right.
Yeah. And it's definitely happened in Chicago, shit. And it happened to a lot of innocent people in Chicago and shit too, so,
So, I just recently interviewed Dr. Wesley Muhammad from the Nation of Islam. Now, you met with Farrakhan before.
A few times.
Okay. What were the meetings about?
I was just really talking about we talked a lot about my independency. We spoke a little bit about my, the messages, that I put in my music. The second time I ran into him, it wasn't a planned meeting. It just happened to be at the airport at the same time, pulling up to the airport at the same time. And we ended up chopping it up at the airport, and the first thing he said to me, like, he's like, how you been? I'm like, I've been fine. And he said, I know you out there teaching, And I was like, yeah, I told him some of the couple of the messages and stuff that I was working on, that I put in some of my recent music. And, he smiled, a bright smile and stuff like that. But it's been love every time I met with him. He's last time I talked to him, he sounded like he wanted to buy me a house or something. He was just like, well, where you live at? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, where do you want to live? You know? And I was telling him my situation, like, you know, I got some sons, you know, I'm not with their mother, but if I had it my way, I would want to take them with me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, so I don't really want to go too far away from them, you know, because they need me, you know? And he was like, we'll talk about it, you know, we'll talk about it. So I'm just like, who asked somebody, you know, where you want to live? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So, but he was pretty cool. It wasn't too much of nothing.
Well, what me and Wesley talked about.
I come here from Chicago. Chicago is a bloodbath. And most of that bloodletting is because of blood feuds, because of eye for an eye, that are endless and never stop. And unless, because it's never stopped, there's always more blood to let. Because there's always retaliation that's in order. So now babies are caught up in these blood feuds. Black people can't afford, see the problem, black people need to exercise the Mosaic law with white people. It should be eye for an eye with white people. It should be turn the other cheek with black people.
To me, the devil, meaning anybody that's really opposing, you know, what you're trying to do in life, really, that's your devil, I would say. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't come in a certain color. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be, you know, if you find out your own blood brother is trying to steal the money out of your bank account, you know what I'm saying?
Like
he's going to fuck against you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So it ain't I'm just turning the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying kill him. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you just can't. It's just not that easy to just say turn the other cheek because this person's your skin color. Like if we knew that if I do something to another black person, I know for a fact that he's just gonna turn the other cheek. You gonna have too many people out there looking like I'm finna take advantage of this. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to worry about losing my life because if I keep stealing from him, by the time he finds out that if he finds out that I was stealing, I don't have to fear for my life. He's gonna turn the other cheek. You know what I'm saying? So that shit is not gonna fly. But what I think he might be saying is, you know, try to turn the other cheek when you can, because some stuff can be let go, some stuff can be ignored. You know, it's rappers that I've heard diss me and shit. You know what I'm saying? That don't even know to this day that it's people that call my phone like, hey, I see such and such right here in this barbershop on the corner, like. All you gotta do is give me the word, bro. I'm gonna blow this nigga down, you know. And I'm like, the shit that he said on the internet, I'm like, bro, let him breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even worth that to me, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm looking like, you my friend, you calling me. I don't know your situation, I don't know your surroundings. You could throw your whole life down the drain. You would blow this dude down, kill him, his family all hurt. But at the same time, you my friend, who I don't want nothing to happen to. You can go into jail for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
And you might be tied to it.
Right.
You know, because they'll look at the phone records and they'll say, oh, he called Montana
right before this
10 minutes before this murder. And oh, look, Montana was dissed by this rapper.
Right, yep. Now I got to come in for questions.
Right. I mean, in fact, I believe Max B got like his 40 years because of some phone calls that were made between the people that did the murdering and him. He was in a whole different state.
Right.
But you know, like all this,
the connection.
This type of shit.
And sometimes it be conspiracy. Like I was
That's
in
what
jail,
I'm saying.
and it's just some people just sitting around. You've been in here 7 years, and they don't even have nothing on you. All they have is just
conspiracy.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Something that they feel like you was tied in somehow, or somebody said they was with you.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's different ways of looking at things. So. Like recently I've been reading about Martin Luther King and the whole movement that happened. And up until, you know, Martin Luther King, the black movement was really trying to function with an eye for an eye. Like, okay, if the whites do violence against us, we're going to go ahead and do them. And, you know, they had some wins and then they had some losses. And then, you know, they were fighting against an enemy that was, well, you know, much better armed than them, the U.S. government. When Martin Luther King came in, he said, we're going to try a different approach.
Right.
We're not going to fight violence with violence. We're going to
turn the other cheek.
Turn the other cheek. We're going to love our enemy. You know, his own house got fired. Like a bomb went off in his house, and his family was home at the time. If they were in the front room where the bomb went off, his family would have been killed.
Right.
But then when he showed up, and the mob of black people showed up, and the cops, the mob was getting ready to attack.
Right.
You know, the whites.
Right.
And he said, no, we're going to embrace our enemies. We're gonna feel sorry for them and so forth. And that right there is actually what got things going.
Right.
And started changing the laws and started, you know, like the magnifying glass was on, I believe it was Alabama at the time. And the public started to see what was happening. And the people who were the oppressors ultimately started looking worse and worse, and the laws started to change and so forth. And, you know, if he was practicing an eye for an eye, I don't think he would have made the same type of impact.
Right. I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying, you know, just certain things can go, you know, can be looked past. Like you think about like The Godfather when his son got killed and he had called a meeting with all the heads. It's like he could have struck back, but he's like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna just give y'all this last one. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie. You know, like I got another son that's coming back, you know, from the army, and you know, if he should, you know, get in a car accident or his airplane crashes or he goes to jail and gets hung while in his jail cell for a bolt of lightning, you know what I'm saying, should strike a hair on his head, you know, then this is gonna be all hell for y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause I'm trying to squash the beef right now, even though I just lost a son, like I can't take no more losses, you know what I'm saying? So it's just certain things like that, it's a smart thing to do to turn the cheek to, you know, avoid multiple bloodshed and multiple troubles. You know, some things can be ignored, you know, when you get older in life, you look back on certain shit like that shit didn't even matter, or this didn't even, you know what I'm saying? But one thing about people is a lot of people react off their feelings so much opposed to, you know, logic and sense, you know what I'm saying? Because feelings is more at the time and spur of the moment, you know? And that makes me think about how people talk about the government trying to put these chips in us and all this other type of shit. It's like, that makes sense. Not saying do it, but I'm saying it makes sense for the government because at the end of the day, when you're dealing with people with feelings, you got to worry about, even if you got an employee, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this person might call in sick and not really sick. Or, you know what I'm saying, this person could quit on you. But it's like, if you got a machine or a robot working for you, one, you don't have to pay it. You know what I'm saying? Two, you don't have to worry about it talking about, oh, you know, little man's sick from school and I got to stay home and watch him, or I'm sick and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Or just coming up with some lies to why they calling off. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But, you know, once you're dealing with a creature, you know, human being that has feelings and a mind of his own, you know what I'm saying? And it just, you know, it's kind of iffy. You really can't, you know, tell them where things can go. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. So before you dropped your last project, you got locked up. For what?
In August 2015, I had caught a gun case. So about 2 years ago. And it was me and 3 more artists in the car. And it was one pistol, you know, and none of us said it was ours, and none of us pointed a finger at each other, you know. So of course they took us all to jail, and I bonded us all out. And we was going to court. It was in a rental, you know what I'm saying? So they supposed to been dropped the shit, you know what I'm saying? So they had us going to court for damn near almost 2 years, and just not getting nowhere at all, you know what I'm saying? And so they ended up dropping the pistol cases, and you know, they want something. They plan is they want something. So they end up charging me with, because I was driving, obstructing justice is giving a false name, and driving on suspended at the time. And so I had to fight those 2 charges, and the time that they carry was 1 to 6 years. So I'm like, exactly,
Really?
exactly.
I mean, I've got locked up for driving a suspended
I don't know
license.
if that's just some Illinois shit or what. But
I didn't get that.
Yeah, driving on suspended and obstructing justice.
Okay, so maybe that was probably the most.
That's probably
the most of it.
thing, yeah. So you know, I prayed about it and shit like that on the way. You know, going to the little thing. You know, thinking, you know, they might try to give me 2 and probably have to do 1. You know, shit like that. But I went, and the state that was going against me, they said that they seen it fit that I get 3 years for this, you know. And then the judge was like, you know, and they brought up the gun case that was dropped, which shouldn't be brought up in court because it's dropped now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then the judge was like, you know, well, we're not gonna talk about the gun case because that's dropped. They weren't supposed to bring that shit up. I'm pretty sure they knew that anyway. But
was there a jury or no?
No.
Okay.
No,
So.
yeah. So she brought up the 2 charges and would say they was like really non-violent type charges. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I endangered anybody's life with those 2 charges. You know. And plus she see I'm doing something productive, you know, with my life. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And I also brought my sons to court, you know, that day and shit like that. So I think that was probably pretty helpful too. So the judge was like, yeah, 180 days, you know, and half of that time, and then the good time, 50%. So I only ended up getting 45 days in the county, and that shit was like super sweet.
Half 180 is 90.
Yeah, but you got good time too, and that cuts in half too.
Ah,
yeah.
So you went from 180 to 45.
Yeah. So when I heard 180, I'm like, damn, 180. You
6
know, I'm
months.
like, okay, that ain't a year. You know what I'm saying? But then she broke that shit down, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, knock that shit out just like that. So, you know, I got out of there with a blessing, basically.
Okay. Were you locked up before then?
Same, yeah, basically. I caught 2. I caught a total in my life 3 pistol cases. I beat 2 of the 3. You know, the last 2 I caught, I beat both of them. The first one I caught, that one got stuck with. That was my first offense. So I ended up only getting off with, and everybody was just like, oh, yo, it's your first offense. You ain't gonna get no time. You only go get probation. I heard that shit the whole 2 years I was going to trial, and I still got 60 days in jail. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So message to everybody out there that's thinking, or anybody tell you, you know, you don't need a lawyer, or this is your first offense, or this is gonna happen. Like, they not fucking psychics. They don't know these judges. Like, so protect yourself as much as you can. You know, don't get you no bullshit lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Get you a good lawyer and, you know, fight that case, fight back, man.
Okay. So your third gun case, two of them got dropped. Mm-hmm. So, but the first one's on your record. Mm-hmm. You just pleaded out?
Yeah, it was on me. Like, when the police searched me, it was in my pocket.
Okay, but you basically pleaded out to the 60 days or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it really wasn't my choice to plead out to it. Like, it was on me, so it's like I'm guilty. It was I'm saying I'm saying I'm innocent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when the sentence day came, you know, I was like,
no contest, I guess.
Right. It was like, damn, you know how much time they gonna give me? You know, but I'm thinking, I'm just going to court like this shit just a breeze. You know what I'm saying? My first offense, everybody said I'm gonna get probation. I'm fly as hell. I'm in court and everything, and the judge is like, yeah, so 60 days. So I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I wasn't prepared to leave and shit. You know, they're like, okay, you got 2 weeks to turn yourself in. So it was the first time I went to jail. It was like 2011. And then I caught another gun case in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this last case, you get pulled over. They find a gun in the car. There's 2 other people in there. 3 other people. So there's 4 of y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. No one wanted to take that charge.
Yeah.
Okay. Did anyone try to get out of it by saying you did it or anything else like that?
No. We solid, man. Like, most cases, when you find a couple people in the car, you might find, if they get one person to be like, oh, that was bro shit, you know what I'm saying? Or like, that's good, that's what they want. Because now they got something to work with, you know what I'm saying? But it's very rare that you find, you know, 3, 4, 5 people in the car and nobody want to say nothing, you know what I'm saying?
And that's what happened with you, though.
And that's what happened. Nobody said nothing, so they really didn't have a case, you know what I'm saying?
I remember...
and they can't just pick one of us like, we're going to say him because he was driving, or him because he was sitting the closest to it, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So if people really know their laws and know their shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, you only catch a fish if he open his mouth, you know what I'm saying?
Usually people just crumble.
Yeah. And so, oh man, he said this many years. Like, the judge didn't say that. That's what the fuck this officer just told your ass. You got scared and told on your homie, your ass foul. Yeah.
What about the other 3 people in the car? Did they get charged?
No, they got their gun cases dropped. Since I was the one that, the charges that was left was for the driver, which was me. So they was dropped. They gun charges was dropped.
So they completely walked away.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're the only one that caught anything.
Yeah.
I mean, did you feel some type of way about that?
No, I mean, I knew it was driving. It was because I was the driver. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, you know, I want to see my niggas do good and, you know, in life and be good and be free. You know, so I care about their freedom and shit like that, you know. So it's not like, oh, man, I want y'all to do this with me. Like, no, I know they got family and people that love them, people they need to deal with and shit too. So I was glad to see them go.
Okay, so now this case is completely over.
Yeah, I got that behind me. I can go overseas
So-
and do shows and all that shit now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in retrospect, did you know whose gun it was?
I don't think I should say that.
Okay, fair enough.
That's funny as hell. Matter of fact, yeah, I can't say that because one of my homies that wasn't in the car with us. And
That wasn't even in the car?
That wasn't in the car with us, and he got his gun license, and they know that. It came back to him.
Oh, and he left the car in the gun. He left the gun in the car.
Yeah,
And y'all got charged with it.
yeah. But it got dropped, so at the end of that, we didn't get charged.
Aha. Okay.
And I got my bond money back.
Okay. So did he step forward and say, "Hey, it's mine," and I got a
they
license?
contacted him like, you know, is this your gun?
Oh, because
He like,
they tracked it back to him. Aha.
Right. So they like, yeah. So he'll get that gun back in October. So
Okay, they're still keeping it.
yeah.
So, okay, so this case, it wasn't yours, but
Mm-hmm.
you said in a previous case you were caught carrying, and then other case you got dropped, you know, whatever.
Right.
Why did you feel a need to carry a gun?
Like I'm still independent to this day, you know, so I'm real street nigga moving around the streets, you know. I was hustling back then at the time, you know what I'm saying, still grinding and investing in my music, you know. And even when I did get famous and start blowing up and going viral and, you know, getting booked in different states and shit I never been before, it's like shit. We real street niggas going through state to state, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have no security, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. And a lot of times I still don't. So everybody with me now, we just move differently. Like whoever don't got a record, it's mandatory that you go get your gun license, you know?
Well, but the gun license doesn't work in every state.
Yeah, and then they got
Like
the concealed
California,
carry,
where we're at right now.
The concealed carry.
Yeah, concealed carry.
Shit, like,
yeah,
you gotta go
you're not
get
getting
that. You
concealed
gotta go
carry
get
in
that.
California.
That's why it's good to know people too, like when you go certain places. So when you link up with certain people, it's like,
Right.
you know, you good at certain places.
Yeah, like
if
in
you
LA.
don't have
yeah.
professional security.
Yeah, like in LA, I use ex-LAPD security who could legally carry a gun. They wear body armor. Something happens, they could shoot you, and I could just say, "Hey, this is
Right.
you know,
That's dope.
this is my security." You know, he could go ahead and sit down and talk to the court. He's not going to worry about snitching. He's not going to worry about nothing. He'll tell the whole story, everything.
Yeah, that's a lot smarter and safer.
Yeah, and in
just
fact,
just knowing what the fuck the laws is and what cities you go to, you know.
right, and this is something I've talked with other artists about, is that when a lot of these so-called gangsters, when they see a real security person, most times they'll back away from that. You know what I mean? If they see some other dudes that look like street dudes, they might try to test them or whatever else. But when they see a dude that look like he might be a cop of some sort, you know, or an actual professional security, they're not really going to test that situation. You rarely see that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So, you know, all the artists listening to this, you know, if you want to be safe, you want to go home to your families,
Right.
invest some money in security.
Hell yeah.
Seriously.
I remember Floyd said that one time before. He said something, big swole ass bodybuilding looking ass security guards around. He was like, yeah, man, you got bullshit money, you gonna have bullshit security. You know,
Yeah.
and his security just looks all swole as hell, like they ass in some ESPN strongest man in the world type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's what's up. All ass bigger than him. He looking little as hell. You know.
Sometimes they didn't have to be big. I remember I saw Jaden Smith out, you know, because he lived in the same area I live in, and he looked like, dude with him was kind of like a low-key white dude. Looked like he might have been a Navy SEAL or something.
Yeah, he probably got to know some moves.
Oh no, he looked, and you know, we were like in the same little restaurant, and he kind of came in, stood by the door. You could tell, like, okay, this guy here
Right.
looked like he could kill you with his pinky finger right now.
Right. Break your motherfucking neck like that.
Because it's, you know, it's the son of one of the richest people in the world. You know, Will Smith, Will and Jada. So yeah, man. Yeah, don't try to go for this tough guy shit, man.
Yeah.
It's going
I
backfire on you.
move a lot differently now. Like I don't have to have it on me, you know, at all times like I used to. You know, the bigger you get, it's like the less freedom you have. Like you can't really move around just going in the store, just go out to eat and just run to McDonald's and just chill and just don't have no attention, or you know, people calling other people, hey man, guess who up here? Guess who up here? You know, so you never know who somebody hopping on the phone with. So yeah, man, for years I just, you know, it's either it was on me or it was on somebody that's with me, you know.
Yeah.
And I kind of fucked up my record as far as being able to have it on me.
Yeah.
So I always keep it around.
Right, because now that you got arrested with it, you can no longer get a carry license, right?
Right. I think I can't for like if I stay out of trouble and don't get a felony for like 7 years, I heard, then I think I can apply for another one.
Right, so
and get a
2011,
Ford
that's
car.
like next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess right.
You have an artist named Jay Real,
Uh-huh.
and he got sentenced to 12 years
Mm-hmm.
for robbery.
Yeah.
This happened recently?
About a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Like September.
How did you
August,
feel?
September.
How did you feel when you heard the news?
I can't say I was surprised. I really been dealing with him since like 2008 when I met him, and when I met him then he was in the streets and shit, and he was known for like robbing people and shit, you know. So I kind of pulled him to the side, you know, and I put him on, just told him, you know, about the chill out on all the robbing shit, you know what I'm saying? Like we gonna get some money, you know, this way type shit. I kind of took him under my wing. And, you know, you can give people that you love advice and shit like that. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna use it, you know. And he's kind of like this one of the people that kind of gotta find out the hard way, you know, for himself. So I always told him, you know, like I wouldn't be surprised if I get a call and be like, Jay Real is dead or Jay Real is in jail. Like all these type of, like that wouldn't be surprising to me. And I pulled him to the side for and told him that maybe like 2 years ago, you know. And, you know, I was telling him about the power of being out of sight, you know what I'm saying? And not always being accessible, you know, and touchable, you know. And I remember him like cutting me off, like, man, bro, I'm just not finna be in the crib, man. Like I gotta get out, you know what I'm saying?
And rob people.
And I'm, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just looking like, boy, your ass is not fucking listening, you know what I'm saying? And I remember when we caught the gun case, he was in the car with me, and I actually thought about leaving him in there so he could sit his ass down for a minute, you know. And I'm like, man, what if, you know, he fucks up me getting my bond money back? Cause you know, while you're on a bond, you can't get in no extra trouble, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what if he fucks up my bond money, or he ended up getting killed, you know what I'm saying? And then I can't get my bond money back, and it's like, man, he would have been safe if I let him sit in there until this case was over with. Because I didn't know the case was gonna go almost 2 fucking years, you know what I'm saying? We was thinking it was gonna end at the end of the month. Our first court date was August 31st. We got pulled up like August 14th, you know? So sure enough, I bond him out. His bond was $10,000. Bond him out August, September, October. 3 months later, he gets shot up.
Oh, he gets shot?
He got shot up 3 months later. Same thing I was thinking about, if I left him in jail, that wouldn't have never happened. So, you know, through the graces of God, you know, he lived and survived, you know what I'm saying? And it's just certain shit you can just tell people, you see a person again, you can tell they just still haven't learned their lesson type shit, you know? So I see him, you know, he pull up his shirt, show me the wounds and shit. Yeah, man, they tried to fuck up, he got a tattoo on his stomach, you know what I'm saying? One of his dead homies named Quilly, you know, say Quillyville, you know. He's like, yeah, man, they tried to fuck up my Quillyville tattoo, you know. I'm just looking, and it was then at that moment that I knew he still hadn't learned his lesson, like you still playing, you know what I'm saying? And then, shit, the next year, August, this shit happens. You know what I'm saying?
12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. He got 12 years. He have to do 50% of that. So he didn't get sentenced till he was in there for 18 months. So
He got 4.5 more.
He did 18 months in the county, so that's double time. So that's 3 years already gone. So he has about another 3 years left.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
3.5, 3, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because
Still a waste of time. Like,
it's a total waste of time.
then he don't understand too, like you basically got a celebrity on your side. Like, you know how many artists out there that would love to be able to get on a song with me at any time? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and he'd rather be in the streets and doing this instead of, you know, working on a song. Like, he wasn't working on his own music. He would literally sit there like and wait for me to be like, bro, I want you to get on this song. Or bro, I want you to do this song and do this. Ooh. Then that's when he'd go to the studio. But he never was like, hey, I got this song I want to do. Or I was working on this song. You know, I got a call one time from a friend of mine that plays basketball overseas. And he told me, you know, about like, man, I just got a call from somebody and they said Jay Real robbed him, man, you know, kicked in the door and, you know, did this and woo, and then I'm just looking like, why am I in Chicago getting a call from somebody in fucking Germany about somebody that's where I'm at? And I don't know nothing about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, recently, an Atlanta rapper named Young Mozzie got killed. Did you hear about that story?
Yeah, I don't know the story, but I heard about, I saw
Right.
the picture of him, but I don't know the story.
And most times when a rapper gets killed, people are like, oh, you know, such a great talent, you know, we miss him, I can't believe it happened, he was this, you know, he wasn't in that shit, you know, he got caught up. But when Mozzie got killed, it was a different type of situation. People start coming forward and say, we don't mourn finessers.
Right.
You know, and you know, this should, you know, this needs to be a lesson to everyone out there that's out robbing people. And,
Right.
you know, I remember this dude Trouble.
Just thinking, man. All the love y'all be showing motherfuckers when they get spent. If you kept it real with them folk while they were here about certain sucker shit, you probably could have saved them folk from getting their top blown. It just be too much motherfucking fake love out here, man. And wait on you to die.
And you know, it was the first time I really heard people really just saying, you know, he was asking for it. He kept doing shit because he got shot like 10 times. Last time he got shot, he said he was bulletproof, and he continued to do the type of shit that eventually
That brings that, right.
you know, it was almost unavoidable, especially if you stay in that same area around the people who you're robbing. So yeah, you got your artist here. Well, it really sounds like he's lucky to be alive. If he already got shot in the stomach, I mean, getting shot in the stomach.
He got shot again. He was shot the first time and on a breathing machine back in 2013, summer 2013. Yep. So it was way worse that time.
So you get out of a breathing machine and you continue to do the same shit.
Yeah. And it's like he chill. He has moments where he was chilling, you know. But then there's be shit that's going on that I don't know about. Like one time some shit happened. He was out of some club. It was a big fight with him and some of his brothers and cousins and some of the motherfuckers that he hang with that I don't even fucking know. And then somebody called me and was like, yeah, something happened. J. Real got stabbed up a little bit, you know.
A little bit.
And a couple times, that's what they said.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, so I called his phone. You know, when shit like that happen, people usually lose their phone, you know. So I'm like, okay. So the next morning, I called him. I'm like, what's up? And he just trying to have a regular conversation with me like nothing happened. Don't know that I know that you just there. So I'm just like, so you got stabbed up? Yeah, man, just, you know, they a couple little pokes, man. You know, and I'm just looking like, so I can honestly say I talked to him probably about a week ago, and he sounded like he had some sense in his head, you know. Like he was trying to tell me, I was telling him about some advice that I was giving somebody else, you know, and then he ended up opening his mouth saying, man, I gotta talk to them, man. They don't fucking know how lucky they is, man. You know, like, man, I wish I would've, you know, this is shit that I just never heard him say before, you know what I'm saying? Like now I see, you know, I see what it's like, man, you know. And he like, man, I'm looking at the pictures. The mother of his child sent them some pictures of us, you know. And he was like, yeah, I finally showed people in here some of y'all pictures. He said when y'all had on the gray FG, you know, jogging outfits with the sky blue trim, then you had on the all black with it. And I'm like, oh, that's from this video. Oh, that's from that video. Oh, that's from the Cypher Part 4 video. He's like, oh yeah, you know, like, oh yeah. And he was on the Cypher 2 video, you know, so he missed 3 and 4, and we finna come out with 5, and he won't be on that too, you know, so all that type of stuff, you know, can make a person's imagination run wild. They can just imagine how much they missing, you know what I'm saying? So anytime we would go on tour, like I felt good to take him, you know what I'm saying, like away from, you know, his normal atmosphere, and a lot of people know where he live at, and he's one of them ruthless type motherfuckers that just, no mask, no gloves, like you're gonna know it's me. Like how motherfuckers see, oh, that's Debo, and then you go, like it was like motherfuckers like, oh, that's him. Like you could be sitting around chilling for about 5 minutes, next thing you know, a gun in your face. Like we were just having a nice conversation, then this motherfucker pulled a gun out and laid everybody down and shit like that, and just went in everybody's pockets and shit like that. And so I would hear stories and shit that he would never know. He never knew that I was told from other people, and it would almost be hilarious. But at the same time, I was the motherfucker that was telling him not to do these things, or like, man, God not gonna keep letting you get away with these things. You know, like every time you get away with something, he's the reason you got away. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna keep happening. Like if you gonna hit a lick in life period, it should be like, boom, this was a one-time thing. You know what I'm saying? To where it was, first of all, you risking your freedom. You risking your life and your freedom on any fucking lick. And then
100%.
if you're gonna do that, then it should be something that's really worth what your life is worth to you. 10 million, 20 million, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
And
there's no amount unless
to take that risk, you know what I'm saying?
there's
and
no
just
amount
like,
to risk your life like that.
all these little bitty ass, you know, and it's like, it's not, you know, in due time that money's gonna run out, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I would tell them the same thing, like, these same niggas that you running with, every time you go to jail, they know where to be found. You know, like, I'm the one putting money on your books. I'm the one, you know, meeting with your mama and paying for lawyers and doing this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so at the end of the day, you really fucking off my money. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And, you know, so hopefully he learned his lesson. But I'm really, really, you know, sit down and, you know, talk to him, you know, when he get out of this time on some, like, you know, this, like, I'm not finna waste no more money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I done spent more money on you and haven't made $1 off of you, and you my artist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
like I done spent all this money, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't even seen the money back yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you haven't made no industry money yet. You know what I'm saying? You haven't made no true music money yet. You know what I'm saying? He probably got paid for a couple features here and there, but I'll let him keep that for himself. You know, like, that's,
Yeah.
you know, I want to see you get your feet wet and, you know, come up. So
So you and Kevin Gates were supposed to have an album together?
no, not an album together. We was about to do a song together called that's a remix of one of my songs called "Bad as Hell." He had hit me up and stuff one day. Was like, man, this song right here. He's like, man, this is a multi-million-dollar song right here. This is a platinum hit. You know, he like, you don't even know it. I'm like, I know. I mean, I know it's here. He like, no. I mean, like, these like, man, you ain't even doing nothing with this song. You know, I'm like, I shot a video to him. I'm like, but that was probably like 8 months. He like, man, it don't matter how old the song is. You know what I'm saying? He like, if a hit is a hit. You know what I'm saying? He like, man, this is a hit right here. You know what I'm saying? And he asked me like, he like, I always play this song. He's like, man, you should let me get on the remix. So I'm like, I bet. Then probably like 2 weeks later and shit, I heard he was in jail.
Right, and then he went to jail originally for the whole kicking
For the
incident.
original, the kicking
And
thing. That's what
then
went to jail.
there was a gun charge, I guess, in Chicago. So he got transferred to Chicago,
Yeah.
and he's still there.
Yeah, I actually just shouted him out in the song and shit. Yeah, that's a good dude. Well, that's my dude. You know, I heard some rude stories about him and shit like that from some people, but I'm like, yeah, he good with me though.
Well, because you ended up you dropped both albums. You dropped 2 albums, I guess, in May.
No, I dropped the album in February with me and my artist, and then I dropped another album in May.
Okay.
So that's February, March, April, May, like about 2.5 months later.
Okay, so you dropped 2 projects right next to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, why was that?
I plan on dropping the album every year on May 20th.
Okay.
Just because I feel like an artist, you should be able to give your fans at least a good solid 15 songs every 365 days, you know? And in between that, I try to drop something with, and be helpful that's beneficial to somebody else other than myself. Like, I dropped Curse with a Blessing, then in between my next album, I dropped a Guns N' Roses album with me and Tally of 300, you know, to, you know, help him, you know, get a check, you know what I'm saying, and see how the money coming in, like, you know, this shit is really real and really possible, you know what I'm saying? So I did that project with him, and then I dropped my next album, Fire in the Church. So after Fire in the Church, before I dropped my next solo album, I did the group project, No Surrender, No Retreat, with all my artists. And even though I took, even I paid for all the studio time and the videos, you know, and things like that, and photo shoots, like, it wasn't about, like I really love them outside of music, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want them to be good 20, 30, 40 years after we done making music. You know, I want to see them 70 years old and their families is good, you know, so it's not about, oh, what this nigga could make me, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. Like, a lot of other artists get that shit confused with labels thinking that, oh, this is a real family or people really fucking love you, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like just like some athlete shit. Like, as soon as your knee goes out, I don't give a fuck about you no more, you know, running this ball for me, you know what I'm saying? It's about you filling up these seats, you know what I'm saying, and selling these fucking tickets, you know what I'm saying? And with me, it's not like that with my artists. Like, some artists you even see on the same label, but they hate each other, you know what I'm saying? And y'all just have the same boss. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like it ain't love, it ain't no family over there all at that label, you know? So with my label and shit like that, that's how we move like as a family, like real love. Like if it's a problem, which I haven't had between two people, not saying that it can't happen, you know what I'm saying? Like we finna get this shit straightened out right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't finna be no, you know, entourages and this and all these feelings and all this other type of shit. You know, like I really love them as brothers. So when I did that group project with them, we split, it was me and it's 4 other artists. So we split everything evenly, 20% apiece. You know, like I said, even though I was paid for all the videos, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that, and all the studio time, I could have used that and been like, well, this is why my cut is gonna be more than y'all's, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't about that with me. My thing is I'm really trying to show them that this money off of this music, this legal hustle, you know, you can use your talent, this shit is really fucking possible. So it wasn't about my percentage and shit like that. Like that album and that project was dedicated to my homies, to my artists, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about the impact that Soulja Boy has on the Chicago rap scene. You don't usually hear those two things coming together like that. So explain that.
Well, what I mean by that is, you know, even, I'm not even gonna say just Chicago, but even in life, a lot of people tend to not want to take you serious or respect your craft or something, or respect you as whatever the fuck you doing until they see somebody else buying into it. And that's whether it's just from your hometown or something, like somebody be like, oh, I used to sit in class with him. Hell no, he got a concert in this, like hell no, I'm not finna buy, I'll never buy no fucking tickets to that shit. But then you look up and you see like, damn, all these people came to see his fucking concert? Or you somewhere and you hear somebody talking like, damn, they talking about the same dude that I was hating on, or I used to sit in class, like they talking so highly of him, like, so that might even make them feel good. They're like, hey, y'all talking about him? Like, I know him, like, yeah, that's my homie, you know? So now they feel a little bit different, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So, especially if they already value somebody and they see somebody that they valuing somebody that you didn't value, then they have the tendency to, okay, now I'm gonna value them too. You know what I'm saying? And it's really like that. Like it was people that was going like, man, dude, Chief Keef, he got a song with Soulja Boy, and I remember people saying like, oh, that's not really him on there. That's not really Chief Keef. You know, or maybe Soulja Boy already got a song called 300, and they somebody try to, you know, edit and put both of the songs together, and then he's like, no, this nigga really got a fucking song with Soulja Boy. So then all of a sudden this no-name kid, you know what I'm saying, from Chicago just blowing up. Like people say, oh, they playing it on the radio now.
Wait, so you're saying that the Chief Keef started to kind of buzz when Soulja Boy started fucking with him, or?
Yeah. I'm saying he wasn't working already. Cause a lot of people work, but it's like you under the radar.
Okay, wait, so did that happen before the Kanye?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay, so Soulja Boy saw the whole Chief Keef thing early.
Yeah. He saw it early. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't see.
He even saw Migos early, before the whole Drake shit with the Migos.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he did that, and then it was like same shit, like I just said, is Chicago radio stations. Boom, damn, the Soulja Boy and Chief Keef on the radio now in Chicago.
Huh.
Chicago ain't playing nobody on the radio from Chicago if it ain't Twister. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So it's like, damn. Yeah, Kanye. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, like, Shorty ass only 16 years old? You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, so it's like, he clouding up now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he getting his cloud up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, this nigga really on the radio with Soulja Boy. You know what I'm saying? And Soulja Boy already had a name for himself and was, big and, got a little resume of songs, big songs out, you know what I'm saying, throughout his career, you know what I'm saying? So that was that. So it's like, okay, at the same time, you wasn't used to seeing pistols all in the cameras and shit and videos, you know what I'm saying, before then, you know, like.
You're talking about Foreign Cars, that's the song?
No, I'm talking about 300.
Oh, 300, the song 300.
Yeah.
Oh, Soulja Boy was on that?
Hunna, yeah.
Okay, but the version on the album didn't have Soulja Boy.
I don't know what the fuck the album had. I ain't listened to the album.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the album had.
Okay.
So, and then it's like, okay, boom, motherfuckers hopping on Chief Keef dick. Then it's like, y'all gonna look up Shorty videos, type them up. And then people wasn't used to that raw Chicago look, like people really in the videos, like cooking up crack in the video. Like people really, these really shorties with pistols in the camera, like we don't give a fuck if the police see this shit. Like this is some real edgy living ass shit, you know what I'm saying? Like this is then it was like this was more real than what we have been watching the past 5 years, to where, you know, maybe from the past 5 years is what, 2007 to 2012, I would say. That was like Lil Wayne, Lollipop. You're not seeing no pistols and drugs and videos. You know what I'm saying? A Millie. You know what I'm saying? He had the game on lock. Then you start kind of seeing people going to this Lil B, I'm a pretty bitch shit. So it's like, what the fuck is the game kind of coming? then it kind of steered it back right with the Flocka trap shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, that was kind of some hard shit. Like then it's like, then you got Chief Keef came. He way younger than Flocka.
Yeah.
Now he's 1,000 pistols. Chief Keef, JoJo. You know, this whole like this. So it's like the world is tuning in to a real beef that they didn't know about. That's just in Chicago. GDs and BDs. You know what I'm saying? So when you seeing these little niggas, they have pistols, all type of guns, all in the video. So it's like, this is entertaining. This is that we walking through classroom hallways going to class and a fight breaks out. Everybody finna run to the fight. Even though you know you're supposed to be taking your ass to class, everybody want to go see this real ass entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like basically you was walking into the middle of a real fucking beef that was being displayed on camera almost, you know what I'm saying, as entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so it's like fans is really listening. Like Lil Wayne could say, I have my killers bring back your head and sit it on my coffee table, and nobody takes it serious.
Right. And
then you have a 14-year-old or 15-year-old be like, when I see him, I'm gonna shoot him in his nose. I'm gonna shoot him in his forehead. You know, and it's like they took that so serious because he just raised a fucking gun and put it in the camera when he said it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you respect Wayne, you'll go spend all this money on the Wayne ticket, and then you got this shorty over here who you take so much more seriously. And one thing just about selling product, period, is nobody's gonna buy something that they don't believe.
Yeah.
You know, from when we used to watch the little 1999 commercials, call now and get this food. Like, we don't believe that this shit is gonna work, nobody's gonna call them and buy the shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these kids from Chicago, they didn't have to be super creative. They didn't have to be as creative as Lil Wayne, his metaphors and things like that. You know, it just had to be believable. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, they really doing this shit. Damn, that dude he was just talking about really got killed. Damn, like what's next? You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody was tuned in to what the fuck is really going on in Chicago. Then we broke a record that year we was the murder capital. You know what I'm saying? Most murders in 1 year. You know what I'm saying? Then broke it again the next fucking year. You know what I'm saying? Like, to where that type of shit is entertaining. Sadly, that shit is entertaining to some people, you know, in the world. You know, something could be sad at the same time, but I'm finna keep watching. I want to see what's next. You know what I'm saying? Or don't want to feel left out. You know what I'm saying? So when Soulja Boy did that song with Chief Keef, that opened up a door for Chief Keef, which Chief Keef opened up the doors for a lot of other artists. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, really all of Chicago.
I'm not saying Soulja Boy opened up all these doors for Chicago artists.
No,
I'm saying,
I see what you're saying.
You know, you let one motherfucker in, and based off of what they do next, who they let in, you know, it's like that.
No,
so
you're right. I mean, like the whole drill scene, you have to give it to Chief Keef.
Right.
You know, you may not like him, you may not like his music, whatever else, but all these artists that are popping right now, including yourself, kind of came out of the Chief Keef tree.
Yeah,
in a way.
And I had to deal with for years, like, you know, because I remember people hitting me up like, man, since Shorty and them blew up with the name 300 first, you gonna change your name? And I'm like, well, my 300 stand for, with the Spartans, no surrender, no retreat, and against all odds. I'm like, no, because if I did that, I would be going against what the fuck mine stands for, which is no surrender, no retreat. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, he gonna have his fame and do his thing, you know, but people gonna know that when I speak and when I'm around it, the difference between ours. You know what I'm saying? And I stuck with my shit, you know, and I just felt like that, you know, I would see people or even have interviews with people be like, man, we heard you, and we like, damn, he with Chief Keef and them from Chicago, but the rest of them Chief Keef niggas ain't rapping like this nigga. Like, I'm not a drill rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, drills doesn't really consist of metaphors and putting 2 and 2 together and 2 and 3 and, you know, deep thinking or conscious rap and shit like that, or, you know, biblical things or religion and things like that, and, you know, positive messages, all that type of shit. Like, all that's incorporated in my music here and there, you know what I'm saying? And that's not drill. Like, I don't you can't categorize me in no drill. I just came out of that time area, and me being from Chicago, you know. But
Yeah, man.
I definitely set myself apart from whatever else is going on.
Shout out to Soulja Boy, man.
Yeah, shout out to him, man.
You know, and I've always had a lot of respect for Soulja Boy. You know,
Yeah.
I did the Soulja Boy interview that ended up being the Soulja Boy Challenge.
I'm in the studio listening to some beats. All I hear is boom, real loud. Instantly stop the music. I just hear it. Motherfucker run. I hear do my partner say, man, who the fuck in this crib? A-Rap passed me the pistol. Bam, I look through the door. I see like 3-4 niggas running through the crib. All black, mask on, running through the crib and shit. One nigga run to the front door. I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot the nigga. Bow, shot his ass. Bow, 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 bow. All the niggas run out the door, they run out the door. This nigga on the floor. Feel me? Walk up to this nigga, take his mask off his head. Looked at it, saw who it was. I'm like, damn. Shot his ass again. Bow! He screaming and shit. Ah! Fuck! I shut the door.
When you took the mask off, you knew who it was?
I knew who it was.
Oh, wow. So it was an inside job. Well, you knew who he was.
I knew who he was. I'm like, damn. Shot his ass. Bow! Go back in the studio, shut the door. All I hear is doom, 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 doom. Somebody coming up there. I open up the door again. I start shooting. Bow, bow. That's my nigga. His killer. He like, man, pass me the gun. I said, man, I ain't giving you shit, nigga. Fuck that. Bam, police pull up. You know, that was the end.
Outside of that part, I really got, people to really learn the Soulja Boy story.
Right.
And how he was one of the first to really do a lot of shit. First rapper to go viral, first rapper to
YouTube,
get,
the music,
on
YouTube,
YouTube,
yeah.
the ringtone deals,
Yeah.
all that, man. So you called out rappers for wearing choker chains.
Yeah, it's to me. I don't remember my exact words, but to me, you want to go ahead and say it?
Okay, so basically you said rappers wearing these choker chains that says gay slave all over it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
why would you say that?
Plain. I mean, that's just what it looks like to me. Like when you used to see. Well, first thing that puts me in mind is exotic male strippers. When you see the little tie on their neck with the little bow tie and shit like that.
Okay.
That just fit to their fucking neck. It's like, okay, this nigga coming out of fucking cake, dancing with some little drawers on in front of some bitches. Okay. So that's kind of the first little sense it puts me in. Then it's just like, you watch movies like, what's the most recent? Like The Birth of a Nation.
Okay.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
And you just see shackles and shit that was around slaves, the ankles of their wrists and their necks, you know what I'm saying? Just really like that to where you don't really have no room to move your neck comfortably. Like I got you on lock, you know what I'm saying? And me knowing how the industry is and, people that sign deals is like, you just signed over your fucking rights, you know what I'm saying, for some fame or for some quick cash or a quick loan, And it's like, you already can't do what you want to do now no more. You can't release what you want to release. You can't release it when you want to release it. You can't drop your album exactly when you, like if this record label decides, oh, I got a new artist, I'm going to start investing in him and I'm going to sit you on the shelf for a little bit. Or maybe forever, and without telling you that. They can do that.
Okay.
And you still owe them money. So it's like, with that whole little signing and being and not having all that control over yourself, that's already like some slave shit. On top of this little choker looking chain that looks like a slave shackle around a slave neck. That's basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying every person that wears those little choker chains is a slave, is gay. But I'm saying that's what it symbolizes and says to me when I see it.
I mean, can't you say that any chain could technically remind you of slavery?
Yeah, I can say that.
And you're wearing a chain right now.
I could say that any chain like
around your neck.
Any chain. I mean, even a watch on your wrist could be like shit.
A shackle.
And I said some shit at one of my raps. I said 12. Fuck them and fuck their bracelets. You know what I'm saying? And it's just certain shit like that. But it's like when you have on the chain or it's loose or bigger, You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the biggest chain in the world, you know, but it would be a difference if my chain was like this. You know, like, that's, at some point in time, that might be, you know, uncomfortable to where it's like, it's loose. Like, I could take this off and I want to because it's loose. If you look at a slave and somebody does the key and they haven't took it off, you can see it's loose enough. Like, I have this freedom to get out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Whether I do it or not.
I mean, but a choker chain is about as tight as the watch you're wearing on your wrist right now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, you could take it a bunch of different ways. I mean, I could see what where you're coming from.
I mean, you can see a businessman, a white businessman with a suit on, with a nice watch on his wrist. Nothing about that looks like a slave. But if you see a businessman with a watch on his wrist and then a shackle thing on his neck, now you're gonna look at him differently. Just because we don't see that all the time, probably. Yeah. You know, if we seen this is tight on our neck as much as we seen this, then it probably wouldn't be looked at like that.
Yeah.
But for times to be changing, and we, you know, from seeing rappers with crosses that's hanging way down here, you know, chains, so where that shit looked nice and shit during Dipset era, till we come all the way up to, there's no room for you to, brother. It just looks like it's like, I got your ass on lock.
Yeah, I mean, you know, was it Offset? He said, my chain is a choker, you know?
Oh, okay.
I'm bad and bougie.
Okay, that's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of pictures of rappers, you know, like I guess someone redid your post and put up, you know, and it shows a picture of X, shows a picture of Uzi, shows Yachty, shows, you know, famous Dex, like, all of them have, you know, little chains on. I mean, it's obviously a fashion thing right now.
Definitely, I can see that.
I don't wear chains at all.
For the new
you know,
rappers.
But you know, it's a thing. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, everyone got to make their own decision how they feel.
Yeah, no doubt. Whatever color they want to color their hair, all that type of shit that's them. That's their decision.
I mean, you know, Uzi Vert had a upside down cross. I mean, he actually stapled his head at one point.
Yeah, I just seen that dumb shit.
That right there is stupid.
Yeah, I don't.
You know?
I mean, I think if somebody sit down like the upside down cross, like, it's people have their different meanings for certain things, you know, but I don't see, if somebody takes it the wrong way, meaning, you know, when somebody sees a cross, majority of people are like, oh, okay.
It's Christian.
That's a Christian, that symbolizes how Jesus died for our sins. Ooh, I can see that people thinking that. So if they see upside down, I can see whoever thinks that of the cross to see how they feel like that would be disrespect, which I feel like that's how the majority of Americans think, you know.
What's a Christian country? Opposed
to what I think of the cross. Now, how I think of the cross is totally different. Like, I like sometimes on my theories about religion and shit like that, I had people ask me, even in jail, people was like, oh, what book do you read? You know, where you get your sources from? I'm like, my shit is coming straight from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, from me using logic and me knowing how the human brain works and human tendencies and, you know what I'm saying, things that men do for power and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that, from the beginning of time, human beings has always had free will. You know what I'm saying? Like, show me a motherfucker that wrote a book that didn't have free will and only could do right. Only could be honest, only could write and speak truth. Show me that motherfucker. I want to read his book. Maybe I'll trust his book more. But as far as the other, you know, people, he was a messenger of God, whatever. But did he have free will? Could he do bad and lie if he wanted to? Was this motherfucking book approved by God? You know, did God give it this shit the blue stamp, the verified stamp? You know, like shit like that. Like if that wasn't that, then you better have I got a line where I say I keep my guard up because G.O.D. ain't the author. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And to me, that would make sense. Like, this book says, he who adds to or takes from this book will be punished. It doesn't say whoever adds to this book, you're going to be able to tell where the bullshit was. So, therefore, you got to know that you might have to find what parts you feel like it might be some bullshit or sound like some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Or don't read it at all because it's showing you that it could easily be taken from or added to, you know?
Well, you said a lot of these rappers are smarter than what you know.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them don't know how to display that or think it's cool when it's time to display.
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying that a lot of these dudes are smart, but they're acting stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Is that basically what you're saying?
As far as the religion thing, I would say no, because most of the time, people are just going off of what they're taught.
I just mean in general. Because I don't think that was really about religion.
The religion part I was talking about the cross, the upside down cross.
Yeah.
Well, basically, what the upside down cross shit is me saying, like, I always say this. This is my question to you, Vlad. If your mom was at home alone and somebody broke into her house and beat her to death with a bat, so she died by this bat that they used on her, how would you feel the next day if you came to school and I had a chain dangling a charm of a bat on it in your face, and I said, here, I made this for you. I'm trying to be funny, right? So, and hold on, would you go to the tattoo shop and get a tattoo of a bat big as hell on your arm saying, this is how my mom died, so I'm praising this fucking bat?
Right, but in the eyes of a Christian, Jesus wanted to die on that cross. He died for the sins. He died so humanity could live.
I like that you said that. Now listen.
So therefore, if your mom said, beat me with a bat so I could save my son, and you get a tattoo of a bat saying this bat saved my life that my mom sacrificed herself for, I think that's a little closer to the meaning.
Okay, check this out. What if they say, okay, I'm gonna either kill your 5 kids with this bat or I'm gonna beat your ass with the bat. And of course, a loving mother would say, do me. Yes, I took this for my kids. But now you finna go praise this bat? Wouldn't you rather go get a picture of even if this happened, if you was the father and you would tell your kids, don't go get a picture of that fucking bat, go get a picture of your mother tattooed on you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, not this bat. You know what I'm saying? Like, this bat it brings back a bad memory. You know what I'm saying? If anything.
Right. But there are no pictures of Jesus Christ. No real ones.
And do you know of any other book? Because it's books of people that's lived before the time of Jesus, and it's other books about them. Like, there's no other book with Jesus or anybody coming across Jesus like, oh, and Jesus popped up in this book, or he popped up over here, popped up over there. Just no other books.
I don't understand. Explain that.
For instance, you might read a book over here that was talking about George Washington.
Okay.
And this was his biography. And then you might read another book that doesn't have anything to do with him, but it might talk about the time where they met George Washington.
Okay.
In this city or whatever. So a piece of George Washington is in this book. A piece of George Washington is in this book over here. You see what I'm saying?
So you're saying there's no other books
There's no other book that has a piece
Jesus
of
Christ.
anybody coming encounter with,
right. Well,
a Jesus.
I think, it was fairly established that a lot of the stuff in the Bible, the Old Testament, and the New Testament as well, it was just not true. Like this great flood with Noah, it's a great story, but there's no proof. There's no like writings from any civilization about it, or like when Moses took 2,000, thousands of slaves from Egypt. Like the Egyptians had records of a lot of stuff.
Right.
Somewhere they would have mentioned like, oh yeah, and 5,000 slaves would just walked out one day
right.
and just never came back.
Gotcha,
that would be something in Egyptian history. So a lot of this stuff is just made up in order to try to teach stories and principles and stuff like that to people. Me personally, I'm not very religious at all.
Right.
So when it comes to really any religion, I take it with a grain of salt. And I've been to Israel, I've been to Jerusalem. I know that, that's where all the books were actually written. So a lot of the stuff has historical context over there, but I don't take it exactly how it is.
Right.
And, if you want to look for, if you think Chicago's violent, go read the Bible and you will see way more violence. You know what I mean? Where like Moses came down and his people were, worshiping an idol instead of the real God. So he kills like 1,000 people for worshiping the wrong God.
They say guys that killed everything living.
Yeah.
Or burned everything living, even
like
the grass.
The plagues and all that type of shit. Like, the world has definitely gotten way less violent. Compared to what they were writing about back then.
If that shit is true.
That shit is true. So, yeah, man. Do you feel in general, though, that rappers kind of dumb down their intelligence when it comes to the music they put out?
I would say yeah, and I would say not necessarily because things that's dumbed down is usually the things that's catchy. So even like Tupac said, he said, it takes skill to be real. It's time to heal each other. And I think a lot of rappers don't know how to keep somebody's attention while trying to teach or heal. Like off the top of your head, no shots at just, let's say 2 Chainz. Like, could you tell me a 2 Chainz line that you feel like could heal somebody or help somebody's life off the top of your head?
No.
You see what I'm saying?
And I'm a fan.
And it's not, me too, and it's not that he can't think of something that's useful to somebody, it's just he didn't choose to use it when he was doing his presentation.
And he's actually one of the smarter rappers that I've interviewed.
Right, and
like
I've seen him
he went to college.
You know, with the minister at the mosque and things like that too, you know. So shout out to him, you know what I'm saying? But it's just certain things like that, like, you know, some people is like, and you got some people that's on deals like, man, I'm trying to make a fucking hit, you know, I'm trying to get out of debt, or I'm trying to, you know, make this money back and shit like that. Like, I really don't have time to be risking losing some fan base because they don't want to hear me teach. And it's like some people not willing to go there, and some people don't know how, and then some people are just like, I'm making music so easy and so many songs by just saying this dumb shit I don't got to put that much thought into. You know, a simple-minded shit, more simple shit, simplicity. I'm not even gonna say just dumb shit, because everything that's simple isn't dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Simplicity is good at times, you know? And sometimes it's working for somebody, so they like, shit, if it's working, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people buying into this shit. You got the dude, the ugly guy, he's literally said out his mouth, I know I'll be saying shit that don't make sense and dumb shit, but if they loving it, it's bringing you a check.
I think that ultimately when it comes to hip hop, you could say this about all music in general, but hip hop in particular, the thing that makes hip hop connect with people is the realness of it. You know what I mean? When you look at the best artists of all time, they you know, they talk the talk and they walk the walk. You know, like I just interviewed Damian Marley. I think that as these artists mature, they get older, they're not selling drugs anymore, they have families, they start making generational type money and so forth. If you continue to talk about the same shit that you were talking about before you were exposed to all this, ultimately people are gonna stop fucking with you. You know what I mean?
Because you just become predictable.
Yeah, like I mean, people loved 50 when he first came out, but 50 got rich, 50,
Quick.
you know, you know, 50 expanded and so forth. And, you know, he kind of kept his music sort of the old 50.
Right.
And I think people still like 50, but they don't connect to him the same type of way as they connect to like Jay-Z these days.
Right.
Jay-Z continues to kind of change and evolve and so forth. He still would talk about, you know, he would do a song with Jeezy and still talk about the drug shit, but then he drops an album like 444, and people fuck with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
And you know, it's not a shout out to you know, either of the artists, but I think music wise, when you look at 50 and Jay, Jay is more of a prominent, you know, a viable music artist right now. Now 50 is killing it with the Power, you know, TV show, and you know, his other ventures, you know, he got the vodka and everything else like that, and he's a great business person.
Right.
But music wise, are you looking forward to a new Jay-Z song or a new 50 song?
Got you.
You would say Jay-Z.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, but then you look at the 2 Chainz, who's still talking about trapping, and people still fucking with them. So it's, I don't know, man.
It just sometimes it's about somebody's finesse. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know, you guys, what's the song 50 just did not too long ago with Chris Brown?
Oh, I'm the man. Bitch, I'm the man. Yeah. 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 Yeah, and I think a lot of times that people underestimate the hip hop audience. You know what I mean? I know I've done it lots of times in the
Right.
past. And you know, when I've done interviews and I've talked about stocks and I've talked about investing and I've talked about building wealth and stuff like that, you know, I think it goes over people's heads, and then my DMs end up getting just swamped with people talking about, hey, you know, what book did you read? How you do this? How you do
Right.
that? And you know,
That's dope.
hip hop is not one thing anymore, man. It's global.
Yeah.
It spans. It's over 40 years old.
Yeah, it's definitely
You
a lot
know,
of shit.
there's senior citizens who was listening to hip hop since the beginning, and there's young kids, you know, who into the, you know, the famous Dexes and the Rich the Kids,
the chokers and the colored dreads,
and all that, man. You know, excited to see where it goes, man.
tights and everything.
All
man. I
that.
don't know what the hell's going on, man.
Montana, man. I appreciate you coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
Till
man.
next time.
All right, much love, squad.